This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real events or persons is purely coincidental. This story is purely fictional and does not promote or encourage any form of violence. This is a work of fiction. Any resemblance to real events or persons is purely coincidental. This story is purely fictional and does not promote or encourage any form of violence. If we're to have a conversation, please take this dagger out of my hand. The jackal says to me. Believe it or not, it hurts. He is not as playful as his words suggest. Despite his resolve, his face is pale, and his body has begun to tremble from shock. I smile. Where is the rest of your army? Where is that girl, Lilith? She owes my friend an eye. Let me go, and I will give you her head on a platter if you want. If you lend me an apple, I'll even put that in her mouth so she looks like a pig at feast. Your choice. There. Now that's how you got your name, isn't it? I say with mocking applause. The jackal clicks his tongue regrettably. Lilith liked the sound of it. It stuck. That's why I'll put the apple in her mouth. Wish I could have been something more regal than jackal. But reputations tend to make themselves. He nods to several. Like the little goblin there and his toadstools. What do you mean, toadstools? Thistle asks. That's what we call you? Toadstools. For Reaper and Goblin to squat on. But if you would like a better name beyond this little game, you need simply kill Big Nasty Reaper here. Don't stun him, kill him. Drive a sword into his spine, and you can become imperators, governors, whatever. Father will be happy to oblige. Very simple stuff. Quid pro quo. Severo pulls out his knives and glares at his howlers. Not so simple. Thistle doesn't move. Worth a try. The jackal sighs. I confess, I am a politico, not a fighter. So if we're to converse, you must say something, Reaper. You look like a statue. I don't speak statue. His charisma is cold, calculating. Did you really eat your own house members? After months in darkness, you eat whatever your mouth finds, even if it's still moving. It isn't very impressive, really. Less human than I would have liked, very much like animals. And anyone would have done it. But dredging up my foul memories is no way to negotiate. We aren't negotiating. Humans are always negotiating. That's what conversation is. Someone has something, knows something, someone wants something. His smile is pleasant, but his eyes, there is something wrong with them. A different soul seems to have filled his body since the time he was Lucian. I've seen actors, but this is different. It is as though he is reasonable to the point of being inhuman. Reaper, I will have my father give you whatever you like, a fleet, an army of pinks to screw, crows to conquer with, whatever. You'll have prime placement if I win this little year of schooling. If you win, there's still more schooling, still more tests, more hardship. I hear your family is dead and poor. It will be difficult for you to rise on your own. Almost forgot I had a fake family. I will make my own laurels. Reaper, Reaper, Reaper. You think this is the end of the line? He makes a clicking sound of disgust with his tongue. Negative, negative, Goodman. But if you let me go, then hardship. He makes a brushing motion with his free hand. Gone. My father will become your patron. Hello, command. Hello, fame. Hello, power. Just say goodbye to this. He gestures to the knife. And let your future begin. We were enemies as children. Now let us be allies as men. You're the sword. I'm the pen. Dancer would want me to accept the offer. It would guarantee my survival, guarantee my meteoric rise. I would be inside the halls of the Arch-Governor's mansion. I would be near the man who killed Leo. Oh, I want to accept. But then I would have to let the proctors beat me. I'd have to let this little whore fart win and let his father smile and feel pride. I'd have to watch that smug smile spread across his bloody damn face. Slag that. They'll feel pain. The door opens and Pax ducks into the room. A smile splits his face. Gory fine night, Reaper. He laughs. Caught the little turds in the well, 50. Seems they had long tunnels down there like rats. Must be how they took the castle. He slams the door and sits on the edge of the table to gnaw on a piece of leftover meat. It was wet work. Laughs. We let them come up and it was dandy fine carnage, I tell you. Dandy fine. Helga would have loved it. They're all slaves now. Mustang is making them as we speak. But oh, she's in an odd mood. He spits out a bone. Huh? This is him, then? The jackal? He looks pale as a red's arse. He peers closer. Shit, you nailed him down. I think you've taken bigger shits than him, Pax. Severo adds. Prime have. More colorful ones, too. These drabas are brown. Guard your tongue, fool, the jackal tells Pax. It may not always be there. Neither will your prick if you keep sassing. Laughs. Is it as small as you? Pax booms. The jackal does not like being mocked. He stares silently at Pax before flicking his eyes back to me as a serpent might flick its tongue. Did you know the proctors are helping you? I ask. That they've tried to kill me? Of course, he says with a shrug. My bounties are above average. And you don't mind cheating? I ask. Cheat or be cheated? No. Familiar? Well, they're not helping you anymore. It's too late for that. Now it's time to help yourself. I stab another knife down into the table. He knows what it's for. I once heard that if a jackal becomes trapped, it will chew off its own leg to free itself. That knife might be easier than using teeth. His laugh is quick and short, like a bark. So if I cut my hand off, I can leave. Is that really it? There's the door. Pax, hold the knife down so that he doesn't cheat. Even if he hate others, he won't do it. He can sacrifice friends and allies, but not himself. He will fail this test. He is an Oread. He has no one to fear. He is small. He is weak. He is just like his father. I find his Pluto ring in his boot and put it around his finger so his drafters and father can watch their pride and joy give up. They will know I am better. The proctors may be nudging me, but I still have to earn it, Darrow. We're waiting, he sighs. I told you, I am something different than you. A hand is a peasant's tool. A Ghoul's tool is his mind. Were you of better breeding, you may have realized this sacrifice means so very little to me. Then he starts to cut. Tears stream down his face as the blood first wells. He's sawing and Pax can't even watch. The jackal is halfway done when he looks up at me with the same smile that convinces me of his complete insanity. His teeth chatter. He is laughing at me, at this, at the pain. I've not met anyone like him. Now I know how Mickey felt when he met me. This is a monster in the flesh of a man. The jackal is about to break his own wrist to make the job easier when Pax curses and gives him an iron blade. It will go through in a single stroke. Thank you, Pax, the jackal says. I don't know what to do. Everything inside me is screaming sense. I should kill him now. Put a blade through his throat. This is someone you do not let go. This is someone you do not piss on and then send back into the wild. He is so far beyond Cassius. It makes me want to laugh. Yet I told him he could leave if he cut. And he's cutting. Dear God. You're gory mad, Pax breathes. The jackal mutters something about fools. It's just a hand, he says. My hands are my everything. To him, they are nothing. When he is finished, he sits there with a mostly cauterized stump. His face is like snow, but his belt is fastened into a tourniquet. There's a shared moment between us where he knows I'm not going to let him leave. Then I see a distortion move through an open window. The proctors came, as I hoped, but I'm distracted, unprepared. And when I see a small sonic detonator clatter onto the table and the jackal grab it with his one hand, I know I've made such a mistake. I gave the proctors time to help him. Everything slows, yet I can only watch. With the same hand that holds the tiny detonator, the jackal lashes upward with Pax's iron blade. He sticks the blade into my big friend's throat. I shout and lunge forward just as the jackal presses the detonator's button. A sonic blast rips out from the device, throwing me across the room. The howlers slam into the walls. Pax flips into the door. Cups, food, chairs scatter like rice in the wind. I am on the floor. I shake my head, trying to gain my bearings as the jackal comes toward me. Pax staggers to his feet, blood dripping from his ears, from his throat. The jackal says something to me, holds up the blade. Then Pax launches himself forward, not onto the jackal, but onto me. His weight crushes me, and his body covers mine. I can barely breathe. I do not see what happens, but I feel it through Pax's body. A shudder, a spasm, 10 impacts as the jackal stabs at Pax, trying furiously to get at me like some rabid animal digging in the dirt, digging through Pax to kill me while I'm down. Then there is nothing. Blood drips onto my face, warms my body. It is my friend's. I try to move Pax. I manage to squeeze out from under him. The jackal has fled and Pax is bleeding to death. A banshee wails in my ears. The proctors are gone as well. The howlers stumble to their feet. When I look back to Pax, he is dead, his mouth pulled into a quiet smile. Blood slithers along the stone. My own chest tightens, and I fall to a knee, sobbing. He had no last words. He had no goodbye. He threw himself upon me and was savaged, dead, loyal Pax. I clutch his huge head. It hurts to see my titan fallen. He was meant for more. Such a soft heart in such a hard form. He will never laugh again, never stand on the bridge of a destroyer, never wear the cape of a knight, or carry the scepter of an imperator. Dead. It shouldn't have been this way. It is my fault. I should have just ended things quickly. What a future he could have had. Severo stands behind me, face pale. The howlers are up and seething. 4 weep silent tears. Blood trickles from their ears. The world is soundless. We cannot hear, but a pack of wolves does not need words to know that it is time to hunt. He killed Pax. Now we kill him. The jackal's trail of blood leads to one of the keep's short spires. From there it disappears into the courtyard. Rain has washed it away. We jump in a pack of 11 from the spire to a lower wall, rolling as we hit. Then we're down in the courtyard, and Severo, our tracker, leads the way through a postern gate into the rugged, low mountains. The night is hard. Rain and snow sweep sideways. Lightning flashes, thunder rumbles, and I hear it as though in a dream. I run with the howlers in a staggered line. We roll over dark crags, along precipitous drops in search of our quarry. My swaddled boots slow me, but they must be covered. My plan can still work, even after all this. I do not know how Severo guides us. I'm lost in the chaos. My mind is on Pax. He shouldn't have died. I cornered a jackal and let him chew his way out. I remember how Mustang looked at him. She knew who he was. She knew, and she wanted to talk to me in private. Whatever their connection, her loyalty was mine. But how does she know him? Severo takes us into the high mountain passes where snow still stacks knee-high. Tracks here. Snow flurries around us. I'm chilled. My cloak is soaked. The sling blade bounces on my back. My shoes squish and blood dots the snow. We sprint uphill through a snowy pass between two rugged peaks. I see the jackal. He's stumbling 100 meters distant. He goes down in the snow, then he's up again. He's ironed to have made it this far. We will catch him, and we will kill him for what he did to Pax. He didn't have to stab my titan. My pack begins to howl sorrowfully. The jackal looks back and stumbles on. He will not escape. We sprint up the snowy incline. Night and darkness. Wind sweeps sideways. I howl, but it is muffled after the sonic blast, like the sound has been swaddled in cotton. Then something strange distorts the flurries in front of us. A shape, an invisible, intangible shape outlined by the falling snow. A proctor. A stone sinks down into my stomach. This is where they kill me. This is what Fichtner warned me about. Apollo deactivates his cloak. He smiles at me through his helmet and calls something. I cannot hear what he says. Then he waves a pulse fist, and Severo and the Howlers scatter as a tiny sonic boom blows 5 of our pack back down the hill. My eardrums wail. They may never be the same. Pulse fist again. I dive away. Pain lances my foot, pins me. Then the pain is gone. I'm up and sprinting at Apollo. His fist flickers a distortion of force at me. I dodge 3 blasts, spinning, turning like a top. I jump. My sword comes down on his head and stops cold. Pulse shield, when activated, cannot be penetrated by anything but a razor. I knew this, but there has to be some showmanship. Apollo watches me, impervious in his armor. My pack has been blasted back down the hill. I see the jackal struggling on the mountainside. He seems stronger now. A distortion follows him, some other proctor giving him strength. Venus, I think. I scream out the rage that's been building in me since I went under Mickey's knife. Apollo says something I can't hear. I curse him and swing my blade again. He catches it and tosses it into the snow. The invisible layer of pulse shield around his fist strikes my face, never touching, yet sending agony into the nerves. I scream and fall. Then he picks me up by the hair and we rise into the storm. He soars on grav boots till we're 300 meters up. I dangle from his hand. The snow swirls around us. He speaks again, adjusting some frequency so my damaged ears can hear. I will use small words so that you are sure to understand. We have your little Mustang. If you do not lose in your next encounter with the Arch-Governor's son, so all the drafters can bear witness, then I will ruin her. Mustang. First Pax, now the girl who sang Eo's song by the fire. The girl who pulled me from the mud. The girl who curled beside me as the smoke swirled in our little cave. Brilliant Mustang, who would follow me out of choice, and this is where I led her. I did not expect this. I did not plan for this. They have her. My stomach sinks. Not again. Not like father. Not like Eo. Not like Leah. Not like Rock. Not like Pax. They will not kill her, too. This son of a bitch will not kill anyone. I'm going to rip out your bloody damn heart. He punches me in the belly, still holding me by my hair. His face as strange as he tries to place the word, bloody damn. We're floating in the air now, high, very high. I dangle like a hanging man as he hits me again. I moan. But as I do, I remember one thing I learned from Fichtner as I clapped his shoulder in the woods. If Apollo was holding my hair, and I do not feel his pulse shield, then it is turned off, and it is turned off over his entire body. He has physical recoil armor everywhere else except one place. "You are a stupid little puppet, I realize now," he says idly. "A mad, angry little puppet. You won't do as I say, will you?" He sighs. "I'll find another way. Time to cut your strings." He drops me, and I float there, inches from his outstretched hand. I go nowhere because beneath fur and cloth, I'm wearing the grav boots I stole from Fichtner when I assaulted him in Apollo's war room. And Apollo's shield is down, and he's pissed me off. He gawks at me, confused. I flex the knife ring's blade out and punch him in the face, jamming the blade through his visor into his eye socket 4 times, jerking upward so that he dies. "You reap what you sow," I scream at him as he fades. All the rage I felt swells in me, blinding me, and fills me with a pulsing, tangible hatred that sweeps away only as Apollo's boots deactivate, and he tumbles down through the swirling storm. I find my howlers around his body. The snow is red. They stare at me as I descend, my knife ring wet with the blood of a peerless guard. I had not intended to kill him, but he should not have taken her, and he should not have called me a puppet. "They took Mustang," I tell my pack. They look on silently. The jackal no longer matters. So now we take Olympus. The smiles they give one another are as chilling as the snow. Sevro cackles. Chapter 42. War on Heaven. There's no time to waste in going back to the fortress. I have the boys and girls I need. I have the hardest of all the armies. The small, the wicked, the loyal and quick. I steal Apollo's recoil armor. The golden plate coils around my limbs like liquid. I give his grav boots to Sevro, but they are ludicrously large on him. I strip off my own boots, his father's, so he can wear them. They jammed my toes, something awful. I put on Apollo's boots instead. "Whose are these?" Sevro asks me. "Daddy's," I tell him. "So you guessed?" Sevro laughs. He's locked in Apollo's dungeons. "The stupid pixie." He laughs again. They have an odd relationship. I keep Apollo's razor, his helmet, his pulse fist, and his pulse shield, along with his recoil armor. Sevro gets the ghost cloak. I tell him to be my shadow, and then I tell my howlers to tie their belts together. Grav boots can lift a man in star shell as he carries an elephant in each arm. They are easily strong enough to lift me and my howlers, who hang from my arms and legs on belt harnesses, as I carry us through the swirling snowstorm, up and up to Olympus. Sevro carries the others. The proctors have played their games. They pushed and pushed for so long. They knew I was something dangerous, something different. Sooner or later, they had to know I would snap and come to cut them down. Or perhaps they think I'm still a child. The fools. Alexander was a child when he ruined his first nation. We rise through the storm and fly over the slopes of Olympus. It floats nearly a mile above the Argos. There are no doors, no dock. Snow covers the slopes. Clouds mask its glittering peak. I lead to the howlers to that bone-pale citadel at the top of the steep incline. It strikes up, out of the mountain, like a marble sword. Howlers unfasten their belts in pairs, dropping down on the highest balcony. We crouch on the stone terrace. From here we can see the misty lands of Mars, the rocky hills and fields of Minerva, the great woods of Diana, the mountains where my army garrisons Jupiter. I would be down there. The fools should have left well enough alone. They shouldn't have taken Mustang. I wear recoil armor of gold. It is a second skin. My face alone is exposed. I take ash from one of the howlers and streak it across my cheeks and mouth. My eyes burn with anger. Blonde hair is wild to the shoulders, unbound. I pull my sling blade and clench the shortwave pulse fist in my left. A razor hangs from my waist. I don't know how to use it. Dirt under my nails, frostbite on my pinky and middle finger of the left hand. I stink. My cloak stinks like the dead thing it is. It hangs limp behind me, white, stained with a proctor's blood. I pull up the hood. We all do. We look like wolves, and we smell blood. The drafters better enjoy this, or I'm a dead man. We want Jupiter, I tell my howlers. Find me him. Neutralize the others if we come across any. Thistle, you take my grav boots and fetch reinforcements. Go. Barefoot, I blow open the doors with my pulse fist. We find Venus lying in bed in a silk shift, her armor dripping snow from its stand by the fire. She's only just returned from helping the jackal. Grapes, cheesecake, and wine are on a nightstand. The howlers pin her down, four just for effect. We tie Venus to the bedposts. Her golden eyes are wide with shock. She can hardly speak. You cannot. I am scarred, is all she can manage. She says this is illegal, says she is a proctor, says we're not allowed to assault them. How did we get here? How? Who helped us? Whose armor am I wearing? Oh, it's Apollo's. It's Apollo's. Where is Apollo? A man's gentle clothing is in the corner. They are lovers. Who helped you? I helped myself, I tell her, and pat her shining hand with a dagger. How many other proctors are left? She has no words. This is not supposed to happen. It has never happened. Children do not take Olympus. Not in history, on all the planets, was this even thought of. We gag her anyway and leave her tied, half naked, window open so she gets a taste of the chill. The howlers and I slink through the spire. I hear Thistle bringing reinforcements. Tactus will be here to bring his own breed of wrath. And Milia will come. Neela soon. My army rises for Mustang, for me, for the proctors who cheated us and poisoned our food and water and cut free our horses. We go room to room, searching frigidariums, caldariums, steam rooms, ice rooms, baths, pleasure chambers filled with pinks, hollow immersion tanks for the proctors. We take down Juno in the baths. Howlers splash in to wrestle her out. She has no weapons, but cloaked Severo has to stun her with a stolen scorcher after she breaks Clown's arm and starts drowning him with her legs. Apparently she did not leave like she ought to have either. All these rule breakers. Vulcan we find in a hollow immersion room, a fire crackling in the corner. He doesn't even see us come in till we turn off the machines. Vulcan was watching Cassius stand at the edge of a battlement as flaming missiles etch a smoky sky. They gave them Fragan catapults. There was another screen showing the jackal stumble through the snow into a mountain cavern's mouth. Lilith greets him there with a thermal cloak and a med bot. I ask the proctors where Mustang has been taken. They say to ask Apollo or Jupiter. It isn't their concern, and it shouldn't be mine. Apparently my head is going to roll. I ask them what they will swing. I have all the axes. My army binds the proctors, and we take them with us as we descend, flowing down to the next level and the level after that. Like a flood of mad half-wolves. We run across high reds and brown servants and house pinks. I pay them no mind, but my army, in their rabid excitement, sets upon any they see. They knock down reds and absolutely obliterate any greys that make the mistake of trying to fight us. Severo has to choke out a Ceres boy who sits on a red's chest, bludgeoning in his face with scarred fists. 2 greys are killed by Tactus when they try to fire on him. He dodges their scorchers and breaks their necks. A squad of 7 greys tries to take me down, but my pulse shield protects me from their scorchers. Only if they concentrate fire and the shield overheats will I suffer. I dodge their fire and bring them down with my sling blade. My army trickles in, slowly at first. But more are coming every 4 minutes. I'm nervous. It isn't fast enough. Jupiter could destroy us, as could Pluto and whoever else is left. My army is exultant because they have me. They think me immortal, unstoppable. Already they've heard that I killed Apollo. I hear nicknames rippling like currents through the army as we swarm through the gilded vast halls. Godslayer, Sunkiller, they fancy me. But the proctors hear these things too. The ones we've captured, even the ones a little bemused by the idea of students invading Olympus, now stare at me with pale debate. They realize they're part of the game they thought they escaped many years ago, and that there are no medbots directed toward Olympus. Funny thing, watching gods realize they've been mortal all along. Now I send out dozens of scouts through the palace, telling them what I need. Already I can hear my plan being unwound in the halls beneath me. Jupiter, Pluto, Mercury, and Minerva remain. They are coming for me. Or am I coming for them? I do not know. I try to feel like the predator, but I cannot. My rage is calming. It is slowing and giving way to fear as the halls stretch on. They have Mustang. I remind myself of the smell of her hair. These are the scarred who take bribes from the man who killed my wife. The blood pumps faster. My rage returns. I meet Mercury in a hall. He is laughing hysterically and calling out bawdy drinking songs from the HC as he faces down a half-dozen of my soldiers. He wears a bathrobe, but is dancing like a maniac around with the sword thrusts of 3 dead horses. I've not seen such grace beyond the mines. He moves as I mind, fury balanced with physics. A kick, a crushing elbow, an application of force to dislocate kneecaps. He slaps one of my soldiers in the face with his hand, kicks another in the groin, and does a flip over one, grabs her hair while he is upside down, lands and slams her into the wall like a rag doll. Then he knees a boy in the face, cuts off a girl's thumb so she can't hold her sword, and tries backhanding me before dancing away. I'm faster than him, and stronger, despite his incredible gift with the razor. So as his hand goes at my face, I punch his forearm as hard as I can, cracking the bone. He yelps and tries to dance back, but I hold on to his hand and beat his arm with my fist till it breaks. Then I let him spin away, wounded. We're in the hall, my soldiers sprawled around him. I shout the rest back and heft my sling blade. Mercury is a cherub of a man, small, squat, with a face like a baby, his cheeks flush rosy. He's been drinking. His coiled golden hair droops over his eyes. He flips it back. I remember how he had wanted to pick me for his house, but his drafters had objected. Now, he flourishes his razor like a poet with a quill. But his offhand is useless after I've punched it. "You're a wild one," he says through the pain. "You should have picked me for your house. I told them not to push you, but did they listen? No, silly Apollo. Pride can blind. So can swords." Through the eye, Mercury looks at my armor. Dead then. Someone shouts for me to kill him. My, they are hungry. This duel may be fun. I bow. Mercury curtsies. I like this proctor, but I also don't want him to kill me with that razor. So I sheath my sword and shoot him in the chest with my pulse fist set to stun. Then we tie him up. He's still laughing. But farther down the hall, behind him, I see Jupiter, a god of a man in full armor, storming forth with a crooked pulse shaft and a razor. Another armored proctor is with him. Minerva, I think. We retreat, still they decimate my force. They come at us straight on in the long hall, knocking boys and girls down like boulders rolling through grain. We can't hurt them. My soldiers scamper back the way we came, back up the stairways, back to the higher levels, where we run over new packs of reinforcements. We scramble over each other, falling on the marble floor, running through golden suites to flee Jupiter and Minerva as they come up the stairs. Jupiter bellows laughter as our simple swords and spears ping off his armor. Only my weapons can hurt him. They aren't enough. Jupiter's razor goes through my pulse shield and slips my recoil armor on the thigh. I hiss with pain and shoot the pulse fist at him. His shield takes the pulse and holds, but barely. He flicks a razor at me like a whip. It grazes my eyelid, nearly taking my eye. Blood sheets from the small wound and I roar in anger. I fly at him, past Minerva, breaking my pulse fist against his jaw. It ruins my weapon and my fist, but it dents his golden helmet and sends him reeling. I don't give him time to recover. I scream and hack in swirling arcs with my sling blade, even as I stab clumsily with my razor. It's a mad dance. I take him through the knee with the unfamiliar razor. He cuts open my thigh with his own. The armor closes around the wound, compressing it and administering painkillers. We're at the end of a circular stairwell as I push him back. His long blade goes limp, then slithers around my leg like a lasso about to constrict and slice my leg off at the hip. I push fast as I can into him. We go down the stairs, then he rolls up and stands. I tackle him backward, armor on armor. We smash into a hollow immersion room. Sparks fly. I keep screaming and pushing so he cannot rip off my leg with the razor, still limp and looped around flesh and bone. He's backpedaling, off balance, when I take him through a window and we spill out into the open air. Neither of us have grav boots, so we plummet 100 feet into a snowbank on the mountain's side. We roll down the steep slope towards the 1-mile drop, toward the flowing Argos. I catch myself in the snow. I manage to stand. I can't see him. I think I hear his grunt in the distance. We're both muddled in the clouds. I crouch and listen, but my hearing still hasn't recovered from Apollo. "You'll die for this, little boy," Jupiter says. It comes as if from underwater. Where is he? Should have learned your place. Everything has an order. You're near the top, but you are not the top, little boy. I say something pithy about merit, not meaning much. You can't spend merit. So the governor is paying you to do this? I hear a howl in the distance. My shadow. What do you think you're going to do, little boy? Going to kill all us proctors? Going to make us let you win? It's not the way things work, little boy. Jupiter looks at me. Soon the governor's crows will come in their ships, with their swords and guns. The real soldiers, little boy, the ones who have scars you can't dream of. The obsidians, led by golden legates and knights. You're just playing, but they'll think you've gone mad, and they will take you and hurt you, and kill you. Not if I win before they get here. That is the key to everything. There may be a delay on the holos before the drafters see them. But how long a delay? Who is editing the gory dem hollows while you fight? We'll make sure the right message gets out. I take my red sweatband off my head and dab away the sweat on my face, then wrap it around my head once more. Jupiter is silent. So the drafters will see this conversation. They will see that the governor is paying you to cheat. They will see that I am the first student to invade Olympus in history. And they will see me cut you down and take your armor and parade you naked through the snow if you surrender. If not, I will throw your corpse from Olympus and piss golden showers down after you. The clouds clear, and Jupiter stands before me in the white. Red drips from his golden armor. He is tall, lean, violent. This place is his home. It is his playground. The children, his playthings, till they get their scars. He is like any other petty tyrant of history, a slave to his own whims, a master of nothing but selfishness. He is the society, a monster dripping in decadence, yet seeing none of his own hypocrisy. He views all this wealth, all this power, as his right. He is deluded. They all are. But I cannot cut him down from the front. No. No matter how well I fight, he is too strong. His razor hangs from his hand like a snake. With the press of a button, it'll go rigid, a meter in length. His armor shines. Morning breaks as we face one another. A smile splits his lips. You would have been something in my house, but you are a little stupid boy, angry and of House Mars. You cannot yet kill like I can, yet you challenge me. Pure rage, pure stupidity. No, I can't challenge you. I toss my sling blade down at his feet and throw my razor with it. I can barely use the razor anyway. So I'll cheat? I nod. Go ahead, Severo. The razor slithers up from the ground, stiffens, and goes through Jupiter's hamstrings as he wheels about. His slash goes 2 feet too high. He's used to fighting men. Invisible, Severo wounds Jupiter's arms and takes the man's weapons. The recoil armor flows into the wounds to stop their bleeding, but the tendons will need real work. When Jupiter is silent, Severo winks off Apollo's ghost cloak. We take Jupiter's weapons. His armor wouldn't have fit anyone except Pax. Poor Pax. He would have looked dashing in all this finery. We drag Jupiter back up the slope. Inside, the tide of the battle has shifted. My scouts, it seems, have found what I told them to seek. Melia runs up to me, a content grin on her long face. Her voice, as ever, is a low drawl when she tells me the good news. We found their armory, a host of Venus House members, only just freed from slavery, thunders past. Their pulse fists and recoil armor shimmer. Olympus is ours, and Mustang has been found. Now we have all the Axis. Chapter 43, The Last Test. I find her asleep in a suite beside Jupiter's own. Her golden hair is wild, her cloak dirtier than my own. It hangs brown and gray, not white. She smells like smoke and hunger. She's destroyed the room, upturned the dish of food, buried her dagger into the door. The brown and pink servants are scared of her and me. I watch them skitter away, my distant cousins. I see them move, alien things, like ants, so void of emotion. I feel a pang. Perspective is a wicked creature. This is how Augustus saw Io as he killed her, an ant. No, he called her a red bitch. She was like a dog in his eyes. The food was laced with something. I ask one of the pinks. The beautiful boy murmurs something, looking at the ground. Speak like a man, I bark. Sedatives, Lord. He does not look at me. I don't blame him. I'm a gold, a foot taller, worlds stronger, and I look positively insane. How wicked he must think me. I tell him to go away, hide. My army does not always listen when I tell them not to toy with low colors. The bed is grand. Sheets of silk, mattress of feathers, posts of ivory, ebony, and gold. Mustang sleeps on the floor in the corner. For so long we've had to hide where we sleep. It must have felt so wrong, lying in perfect comfort, even with sedatives in her. She tried breaking the windows, too. I'm glad she didn't. It's a far drop. I sit beside her. The breath from her nose stirs a single coil of hair. How many times I've watched her sleep with a fever. How many times she's done the same. But there's no fever now. No cold, no pain in my stomach. Cassius's wound has healed. Winter has ended. Outside, I saw the first of the flowers blossoming. I picked one on the mountainside. It's in the hidden compartment of my cloak. I want to give it to Mustang, want to wake her with the himantthus by her lips. But when I take it out, a dagger slips into my heart, worse than any metal blade. Io, the pain will never go away. I don't know if it's supposed to. I don't know if this guilt I feel is owed. I kissed the himantthus and took it away. Not yet. Not yet. I wake Mustang gently. Her smile spreads before she even opens her eyes, as though she knows I am beside her. I say her name and brush the hair from her face. Her eyes flutter open. Golden flakes spiral there in the irises. So strange, next to my calloused, dirty fingers with their cracked nails. She nuzzles my hand and manages to sit up. A yawn. She looks around. I almost laugh as I see her digest what has happened. Well, I was going to tell you about a dream I had about dragons. They were purple and pretty and liked to sing songs. She flicks my armor with a finger. It rings. Way to upstage me, jerk. What happened? I got mad. She groans. I've become the maiden in distress, haven't I? Slag. I hate those girls. I tell her the news. The jackal is split. His forces besiege Mars as he and Lilith hide in the deep mountains. We'll be able to find them easily. If you want, you can take our army and root the bastard out. Done, she smirks and raises an eyebrow. But can you trust me? Maybe I'll want to be Big Primus of this weird army. I can trust you. How do you know? She says again. This is when I kiss her. I cannot give her the himantthus. That is my heart, and it is of Mars, one of the only things born from the red soil. And it is still Io's. But this girl, when they took her, I would have done anything to see her smirking again. Perhaps one day I'll have two hearts to give. She tastes how she smells, smoke and hunger. We do not pull apart. My fingers wend through her hair. Hers trace along my jaw, my neck, and scrape along the back of my scalp. There's a bed. There's time. And there's a hunger different from when I first kissed Io. But I remember when the Gamma Helldiver, Dago, took a deep pull from his burner, turning it bright but dead in a few quick moments. He said, "This is you." I know I am impetuous, rash. I process that. And I am full of many things: passion, regret, guilt, sorrow, longing, rage. At times they rule me, but not now, not here. I wound up hanging on a scaffold because of my passion and sorrow. I ended up in the mud because of my guilt. I would have killed Augustus at first sight because of my rage. But now I am here. I know nothing of the Institute's history, but I know I have taken what no one else has taken. I took it with anger and cunning, with passion and rage. I won't take Mustang the same way. Love and war are two different battlefields. So despite the hunger, I pull away from Mustang. Without a word, she knows my mind, and that's how I know it's in the right. She darts one more kiss into me. It lingers longer than it should, and then we stand together and leave. We hold hands till the door. Then I turn to her. "Fetch me the jackal's standard, Mustang." "Yes, Lord Reaper." She gives a mock bow and a little wink. Then she is gone. The place is a madhouse of looting. In all the chaos, Severo has found the holo transmitter. It has our sensorial experiences stored in its hard drives and is queued to send them back to the drafters. wherever they may be. It is not a streaming feed, so the drafters do not yet have today's events. There's a half-day delay. That is all it will take. I give Severo instructions and have him get to work splicing out the story I want told. I would trust no one else. I have Fitzner brought up from Castle Apollo's dungeons. He reclines in a chair in Olympus's dining hall. His face is purple from when I hit him. The floor is made of condensed air, so we are suspended above a mild vertical drop. His feet are on the table, and his mouth twists into a smile. "There's the manic boy," he calls, fingering his chin. "I knew I liked your odds." I give him a greeting with my middle finger. "Liar." He returns the finger. "Turd." He reaches for my hand. "Don't tell me you're still bitter about the poisoning, the sicknesses, the setup with Cassius, the bears in the woods, the shitty tech, the terrible weather, the assassination attempts, the spy." "The spy? Messing with you? Ha! Still a child. Speaking of which, where are your soldiers? Running around eating themselves stupid, showering, sleeping, screwing, playing with the pinks. This place is a honey trap, my boy. A honey trap that will make your army worthless." "You're in a better mood." "My son is safe," he says with a wink. "Now what are you up to?" "I already sent Mustang to deal with the Jackal, and after this I go to House Mars. Then it will all be over." "Ooh, except it won't be." Fitzner pops a familiar gum bubble and winces. I did a number on his jaw. It makes me laugh. I felt like laughing since Severo took down Jupiter. My leg throbs with pain from that blasted man. Even with the painkillers, I can hardly walk. "No riddles? Why isn't it over?" "Three things," Fitzner says. His hatchet face examines me for a moment. "You're a peculiar creature. You and the Jackal both. Everyone always wants to win, but you two stand apart. Freaks. Golds won't die to win. We value our lives too much. You two don't. Where did it come from?" I remind him he's my prisoner, and he should answer my questions. "Three things are not finished. Here's what's what. I'll tell you what they are if you answer my question. What drives you?" He sighs. "The first thing, good man, is Cassius. He will simply have to duel you until one of you little sods keels over and dies." I was afraid of that. I answer Fitzner's question. I tell him the Jackal wanted to know the same thing. What drives me? The right-off answer is rage. From point to point, it is rage. If something happens, and if I was not anticipating it, I react like an animal, with violence. But the deep spine answer is love. Love drives me, so I must lie a bit to him. My mother had a dream that I could be greater than anyone in my family, greater than the name Andromedos, the name of my father. Fake father, fake family, point still the same. I'm not a Bellona, not an Augustus, not an Octavia Ulun. I smile wickedly, something he can appreciate. But I want to be able to stand above them and piss on all their gory damn heads. Fitzner likes that. He's always wanted the same, but he's found out without the pedigree, merit takes you only so far. That frustration is his condition. The second thing that is not finished is this. Fitzner waves his hands about. I got the crust of this deal. He's making no revelations. I killed a proctor. I have evidence that the arch-governor bribed others and threatened more, so that his child could win. Nepotism, manipulation of the sacred school. This is not idle news. It will shatter something, perhaps even remove the arch-governor from office. Charges, punishment. The drafters will want blood, and the arch-governor will want yours. This will embarrass him and potentially make room for a Bellona arch-governor, maybe Cassius's father. Fichtner asks me why I trust the soldiers in my army who are slaves. They trust me because they've seen how they would have done in all this had I not come along. You think they want the jackal as their master? Good, Fichtner says. You trust them all. Splendid. Then there is no third complication, my mistake. I press him for what he means, so he sighs and relents. Oh, only that you sent Mustang and half the army to deal with the jackal. And? It's really nothing. You trust her. No. Tell me. What do you mean? Well, fine. If you must know, if there's simply no other way of going about it, she is the jackal's twin sister. Virginia Au Augustus, sister to the jackal. Twin. An heir of the great family, the gens Augusta. The only daughter of Arch-Governor Nero Au Augustus, the man who made all this happen. Kept cloistered and out of the public eye to ward off assassination attempts, just like her brother. That's why Cassius didn't know the daughter of his family's arch-rival. But when I sat with the jackal, Mustang knew who he was, her brother. Had she known before of the jackal's identity? Nothing can explain her silence if she knew who he was and said nothing. Nothing except for family, which is a loyalty above friendship, above love, above a kiss in the corner of a room. I have sent half my army to the jackal. I have given him recoil armor, grav boots, ghost cloaks, razors, pulse weapons, enough tech for him to take Olympus. Damn it, the proctors all know, and when I pass them at a run, they are laughing. They laugh at my stupidity. The rage grows inside of me. I want to kill something. I marshal my forces. They're spread throughout the castle, eating its food, taking its pleasures. Fools, fools, my best are where I need them. Severo left to his work. That is the most important thing. I ordered Tactus to hunt down the remnants of Venus and Mercury in the southern lowlands and enslave them. I set Milia out to marshal the rest of my army with Nila. I need to go to House Mars now. I cannot wait for my soldiers to assemble. I need fresh bodies, because when the Augustus twins come, they will have weapons and technology to match mine, and they may have more soldiers. The game has changed. I did not prepare for this. I feel a fool. How could I have kissed her? My heart is swallowed by darkness. What if I had given her the Himanthus? I tear it to ribbons as I jump from the edge of Mount Olympus in my grav boots and let the petals fall. I take only the howlers with me, passing the petals as we soar down. We wear grav boots and armor and carry pulse fists and pulse blades. The snow in the land of House Mars is gone. Muddy soil churned by the feet of invaders replaces it. The highlands are swaddled in mist. The smell is of earth and siege. Our towers, Phobos and Deimos, are rubble. The catapults gifted to the besiegers have done their work there. So too have they made progress on the walls of my old castle. The front facade is in ruin and strewn with arrows, broken pottery from pitch jars, swords, armor, and some students. Nearly 100 strong besiege Mars. Their camp is near the tree line, but an enclosing fence has been built around Mars Castle to prevent any sallies from the fortress. It has been a long winter for both sides, though I note the solar cooking pots, the portable heaters, the nutrition packets of the Jackal's besieging force, comprised of Jupiter, Apollo, and a quarter of House Pluto. Several crosses stand high at the bottom of the slope. They face the castle. On the crosses are 3 bodies. Crows tell me their state. The only sign of resistance I see from House Mars is our flag, the Wolf of Mars, tattered and scorched. It hangs slack in the poor wind. The howlers and I come from the sky like golden gods. Our ragged cloaks flap behind us, but if the besiegers expected us to be proctors bringing more gifts, they could not have been more mistaken. We land hard on the earth, the howlers first, and I land at their head. And as I hit, the enemies scatter before me in utter terror. Reaper has come home. I let the howlers make ruin of the enemies on our soil. This is as close as I've been to home, to Lycos, in months. I bend down and take a handful of House Mars soil as my men do my work around me. Mars, home. I have flown a different banner, but I have missed my house. Enemies run to attack me. They see my blade, know who I am. I walk impervious. My pulse armor is my shield. Severo and the Howlers act as my sword. I walked to the Three Crosses and peer up to see Antonia, Cassandra, and Vixus, the betrayers. What did they do now? Antonia is still alive, as is Vixus, barely. I have Thistle cut them down and take them back to Olympus for the Medbots. They will have to live with the knowledge that they slit Leah's throat. I hope it hurts them. I stand for a moment at the bottom of the hill. I call up to tell them who I am, but they already know because the flag of Mars comes down, and in its place is raised a soiled bedsheet with a hastily drawn sling blade arching across. "The Reaper," they cry, as I am their salvation. "Primus." The defenders are ragged, dirty, and thin. Some are so weak we have to carry them from the rubble of the castle. Those who can come to salute me, or tip their heads, or kiss my cheeks. Those who cannot, touch my hand as I pass. There are broken legs and crushed arms. They will be mended. We ferry them back to Olympus. House Mars will not be useful in the coming battle, so I will use besiegers from Pluto, Jupiter, and Apollo. I have Clown and Pebble enslave them all with the standard of Mars. A thin boy I hardly recognize delivers it to me, but when he grabs me in a skeletal embrace, a hug so hard it hurts, I know who he is. A silent sob echoes in my chest. He is quiet as he hugs me. Then his body shudders like Pax's did as he met death, except these shudders come from joy, not pain. Roke lives. "My brother," he sobs. "My brother? I thought you were dead," I tell him as I clutch his delicate frame. "Roke, I thought you were dead." I clasp him to me. His hair is so thin. I feel his bones through his clothing. He's like a wet rag around my armor. "Brother," he says, "I knew you would come back. I knew it in my heart. This place was hollow without you." He grins at me with such pride. "How you now fill it." The Primus of House Diana was right. House Mars is a wildfire, and it does starve. Roke has scars on his face. He shakes his head, and I know he has stories to tell, where he was, how he came back. But later he limps away. Quinn, one-eared and tired, goes with him. She mouths a thank you, and puts her hand along the small of the thin poet's back in a manner that lets me know she's left Cassius. "He told us you would return," she says. "Roke never lies." Pollux is still humorous when I see him. His voice is gravel, and he clasps my arm. "Quinn and Rogue kept the house together," he says. "Cassius gave up a long while ago. He waits for me in the war room. Don't kill him, please. It ate his mind up, man. Ate it all up, what he did to you. We all found out. So just let him get some time away from this place, man. It does things to your head. Makes you forget we don't have a choice." Pollux kicks a piece of mud. "The bastards put me in with a little girl, you know. In the passage. Matched me with a little girl. I tried to kill her softly, but she wouldn't die." Pollux grunts something and claps me on the shoulder. He tries a sour chuckle. We've got it raw, but at least we're not Reds. You register? Righto. He leaves, and I'm alone in my old castle. Titus died on the spot where I stand. I look at the keep. It's worse now than it was in his time. Everything is worse now, somehow. Bloody slag. Why did Mustang have to betray me? Everything is dark now that I know. A shadow cast over life. She could have told me so many times, but she never did. I know she wanted to speak with me when I was with the jackal, but likely just to tell me something idle, some tidbit. Or would she betray her blood for me? No. If she would have done that, then she would have told me before I gave her half my army. She took her standard too, and Ceres. Why did she need so many, except to make war with me? It feels like she killed Io. It feels like she put the noose there and I jerked the feet. She is her father's daughter. I feel that little snap go through my hands. I've betrayed Io. I spit on the stones. My mouth is dry. Haven't had anything to drink all morning. My head aches. Time to drop my balls, as Uncle Neril used to say. Time to see Cassius. He sits with his iron blade out on House Mars's table. He's in the seat I carved with my sigil. The old house flag lies across his knee. The Primus hand dangles around his neck. So much time has passed since he put that sword in my belly. The weapon looks silly now, a toy, a relic. I am so far past this room, past his blade, past his reach. Yet his eyes stop my heart. The guilt is like black bile in my throat, fills my chest and drains me. I'm sorry for Julian, I tell him. His hair is golden curls but matted with grit and grease. Fleas make their home there. He is still beautiful, still more handsome than I ever will be. But I am the greater man. The spark in his eye has cooled. Time and space away from this place are what his soul needs. Months of siege, months of anger and defeat, months of loss and guilt have drained him of all that makes him Cassius. What a poor soul. I feel sorry for him. I almost laugh. After he put a sword in my belly, I pity him. He has never lost a battle. He alone, of all the Primuses, can say that. Yet he takes the badge and flips it to me. You've won, but was it worth it? Cassius asks. Yes. No hesitation. He nods. That's the difference between you and me. He sets the standard and his sword down and walks close to me. So close I can smell the stink of his breath. I think he's going to hug me. I want to hug him, to apologize and beg for his forgiveness. Then he pulls open a scab on his knuckles, sucks the blood from it, and spits in my face, startling me. This is a blood feud, he hisses in high lingo. If ever again we meet, you are mine or I am yours. If ever again we draw breath in the same room, one breath shall cease. Hear me now, you wretched worm. We are devils to one another till one rots in hell. It is a formal, cold declaration that requires one thing of me. I nod and he leaves. I stand trembling for a moment after he's gone. My heart thuds in my chest, so much pain. I had thought it would be over, but not all scars heal. Not all sins are forgiven. I take the Mars flag and pin the Primus badge to myself. I watch the map on the wall. My sling blade banner flutters over every castle there. My men secured the rest, even as Tactus makes ready Olympus from Mustang's assault. Now those castles belong to me, not to the wolf of House Mars. My sling blade looks like the L of Lambda, my clan, the place where my brother, my sister, my uncle, my mother, my friends still toil. They feel a world apart, yet their symbol, a symbol of our rebellion, a working tool made into a weapon for war, flies over all the houses of the Oriad except one, Pluto. I leave the castle through the spire. I am a red hell diver of Lycos. I am Gold Primus of House Mars, and I am going to my last battle in this bloody damn valley. After that, the real war begins. Music. Chapter 44. Rise. Tactus has assumed command in my absence. The man is a cruel beast, but he's my cruel beast, and with him at my side, my forces are fit for bloodshed. Our armor glistens, 300 strong, 90 new slaves. They will not have a chance to earn their freedom. There were not enough grav boots for all or enough armor. But everyone has something. The dead horses and the howlers grouped together near the edge of Mount Olympus. They stare down a thin arc of gold at the ground a mile below. Our adversaries are in the mountains. When Mustang and the Jackal come from the snow peaks, they will be at a disadvantage. We have the highest ground. The rest of my force, Pax's former squad and Nyla's, guard the Golden Fortress and the Proctors. The slaves are there as well. I wish Pax were at my side. I always felt safer in his shadow. I've sent Nyla and Milia and a dozen others in ghost cloaks to scout the mountains for the Jackal's movements. Who knows what intel Mustang has given her brother? He will know our weaknesses, our disposition, so I shift everything as much as possible. Whatever she knows will be useless. Alter the paradigm. I wonder if I could beat her as mercilessly as I beat Fichtner. The girl who hummed Eo's song. Never. I'm still a red at heart. Hate this gory part. Tactus sighs. He leans his wiry body past me to peer out over the edge of the floating mountain. Waiting. Va. We need some optics. What? Optics! He says it loudly. My hearing goes in and out. Popped eardrums are nasty things. He says something about Mustang and cutting her thumbs off for starters. I don't catch most of it. Probably don't want to. He's the sort to make braids of someone's entrails. There. Then we see a golden flyer pierce a cloud. 3 more follow. Nyla, Milia, Mustang, and something else. Hold a shield, I call to Severo and his howlers. They echo the command as Mustang approaches, carrying something odd. Lo Reaper, Mustang calls to me. I wait for her to land. Her boots bring her quickly to the ground. Lo Mustang? So Milia says you figured it out. She looks around with a curious smile. This must all be for me, then. Of course. I'm confused. Thought there might be a scuffle between Augustus and Andromedus. No scuffle this time. I brought you a gift. May I present my brother, Adrius au Augustus, the Jackal of the Mountains, and his standard. And he's... Gesto. She looks at me with a hard smile as she realizes I thought she betrayed me. Disarmed? She drops the Jackal bound, gagged, and naked. Bugger me gory balls, Tactus hisses. I have won. Mustang stands beside me as the dropships come to Olympus. She's told me not to feel guilty about doubting her loyalty. She should have told me her family ties, even though she doesn't claim the Jackal as her brother. Not in spirit. Her true brother, her older brother, was killed by one of Cassius's, a brute by the name of Carnas. Augustus and Bellona, the blood feud between the families runs deep, and I feel its riptide pulling at my legs. Yet the question remains, is Mustang her father's daughter, or is she the girl who hums Eo's song? I think I know the answer. She is what goals can be, should be, yet her father and brother are what goals are. Eo never would have guessed it could be this complicated. There is goodness in goals because in many ways they are the best humanity can offer. But they're also the worst. What does that do to her dream? Only time will tell. My lieutenants flank me: Mustang, Nyla, Milia, Tactus, Severo, even Roke and Quinn. We leave a space for Pax and Leah. My army flanks them. There is no need to embarrass the Pluto students. I want to, but I don't. They stand dispersed throughout my 6 units. We wait in a broad courtyard across from the landing pads. It is a spring day, and so the snow melts fast. Severo is near me. In his eye, I see a subtle difference when he looks at me. The conversation we had when he finished editing the tapes was short and frightening. It echoes in my ears. The audio in the storm was scrambled, he said. Couldn't make out the last words you said to Apollo, so I deleted them. One of my last words was, "Bloody damn." What does Severo know? What does he think he knows? The fact that he deleted it means he thinks it is important enough to cover up. Arch-Governor Augustus and the Imperatus Bellona and Adriatus, and a host of other dignitaries to the sum of 200 come from the shuttles, each with a cadre of attendants. The director surveys us and laughs at the proctor's condition. I have left them bound and gagged. There is no pity here. Any worry I had at punishment is swept away. Only Fichtner stands unbound. If there are any rewards given to the proctors, he should reap them. They have seen the hollow experiences by now. Severo made sure they were good. He knew well the story I wanted told, and made only a few adjustments. Director Clintus is a small woman with a severe mountain peak of a face. She manages to crack a joke about this being the first time they've had the ceremony at so lofty a location, but she does think it will be the last. It is not the way the game is supposed to be played, yet it does speak to my creativity and cunning. She seems to like me very much, and affectionately refers to me as the Reaper. In fact, they all seem to like me very much, though some, I can tell, are wary. Rulers tend to dislike those who break rules. The drafters of all the houses are clamoring to recruit you, my boy. You'll have a choice, though. Mars has first offer. It will be up to you. So many choices for the Reaper. Clintus titters. Bellona and Augustus, blood enemies, both watch me as you would a snake. I killed one of their sons and embarrassed the others. I do believe this may become awkward. There is little ceremony. The attendants bustle about. This is but formality. The true ceremony will take place in Aegea, where there will be a grand festival, a party to set fire to the heavens, and the hollow presence of the sovereign herself. Libations, dancers, racers, fire-breathers, pleasure slaves, enhancers, spike dust, politicians, or so Mustang tells me. It seems strange to think others care about what happened to us here, strange to think that so many of the Golds are vapid creatures. They know nothing of what it is to earn the mark of a peerless Scard, to beat a boy to death in a cold room of stone, but they will celebrate us. For a moment I forgot whom we were fighting for. I forgot this is a race that fights like hell to earn its frivolous things, because it loves those things so much. I don't understand that drive. I understand the Institute. I understand war. But I don't understand what is coming in Aegea, or what will come after that. Perhaps that's because I'm more like the Iron Golds, the best of the peerless, those like the ancestors, those who nuked a planet that rose against their rule. What a creature I've become. When all is said and done, Director Clintus pins some badge on me. She winks and touches my shoulder, then we disperse. Just like that. The game is through, and we are told dropships are inbound for our departure to our own homes, where parents wait to give their approval or disown disappointing sons and daughters. Just like that. Until then, we mill about, feeling foolish in all our accumulated armor, all our weaponry that now means so little. I look at my sling blade and wonder how useless it has just become. It's as though we're supposed to congratulate one another, cheer, or something. But there's only silence, a hollow silence, for victors and losers all. I am empty. What do I do now? There was always a fear, always a concern, always a reason to hoard weapons and food, always a quest or trial. Now, nothing. Just the wind sweeping in over our battlefield. An empty battlefield filled only with echoes of things lost and learned. Friends, lessons. Soon, it will be a memory. I feel like a lover has died. I yearn to cry, feel hollow, adrift. I look for Mustang. Will she still care for me? And then Arch-Governor Augustus suddenly takes me by the elbow and leads me away from the other stunned youth. I'm a busy man, Reaper, he says, mocking the word. So I will be direct. You have created complications in my life. His touch makes me want to scream. His thin mouth emotes nothing. His nose is straight, his eyes contemptuous and made from the embers of a dying sun. So peerless, yet he is not beautiful. His is a face carved from granite. Deep cheeks, manly, tough skin, not burnished like that of the fools on the HC or the pixies who gallivant around the nightclubs. He reeks of power, like pinks reek of perfume. I want to make his face look like a broken puzzle. Yes, is all I can say. He does not smirk or smile. My wife is a beggar. She pleaded with me to help her son win. Wait, he had help, I ask. His mouth slides into a soft smile, the sort reserved for simple amusements. I am assuming you are not sharing my involvement with others. I want to break him. After all that has happened, he expects my cooperation, as though it is something due to him, as though it is his right that I help him. I unclench my fists. What would Dancer have me say? You're fine, I manage. I can't help you on the domestic front, but I won't tell a soul that the jackal had help from Daddy. His chin rises. Do not call him that name. The men of House Augustus are lions, not flea-bitten carrion eaters. All the same, you should have put your money on Mustang, I say, intentionally not using her name. Don't tell me about my family, Darrow. He peers down his nose at me. Now the question is how much you want for your silence. I accept no gifts. I owe no man, so you will be taken care of on one condition. I stay away from your daughter. No. Laughs. He laughs sharply, surprising me. Foolish families worry over blood. I care nothing for purity of family or ancestry. That is a vain thing. I care only for strength. What a man can do to other men, women. And that is something you have. Power, strength. He leans closer, and in his pupils, I see Io dying. I have enemies. They are strong. They are many. They are Bellona and others. But yes, Imperator Tiberius of Bellona has more than 50 nieces and nephews. He has 9 children, that Goliath, Carnus, the eldest, Cassius, his favorite. His seed is strong. Mine is less so. I had a son worth all of Tiberius's put together, but Carnus killed him. He's silent for a moment. Now, I have 2 nieces, a nephew, a son, a daughter, and that is it. So I collect apprentices. My condition is this. I will give you what you want for your silence. I will buy you pinks, obsidians, grays, greens. I will sponsor your application to the Academy, where you will learn to sail the ships that conquered the planets. I will provide you with funds and patronage requirements. I will introduce you to the Sovereign. I will do all these things for your silence if you become one of my lancers, an aide-de-camp, a member of my household. He asks me to betray my name, to set aside my family for his, for you. Mine is a false family, Andromeda's, a family made for deception. Yet some part of me aches. I saw it coming, but I don't know what to say. One of your son's soldiers might say something about your involvement, my lord. He snorts. I'm more concerned about your lieutenants. I laugh. Few of my army know the truth, and those that do will not say a word. So much trust. I am their archprimus. I say it simply. Are you serious? He asks in confusion, as though I misunderstand something as basic as gravity. Boy, allegiances crumble as soon as we board that shuttle. Some of your friends will be spirited away to the Moon Lords. Others will go to the governors of the gas giants, even a few to Luna. They will remember you as a legend of their youth. But that is it. And that legend will brook no loyalty. I've stood where you stand. I won my year, but loyalty isn't found in these halls. It is the way things are. It is the way things were, I say harshly, surprising him, but I believe what I say. I am something different. I freed the enslaved and let the broken mend themselves. I gave them something you older generations can't understand. He chuckles, irritating me. That is the problem with you, Darrow. You forget that every generation has thought the same. But for my generation, it is true. No matter his confidence, I am right. He is wrong. I am the spark that will set the worlds afire. I am the hammer that cracks the chains. This school is not life, he recites to me. It is not life. Here, you are king. In life, there are no kings. There are many would-be kings, but we peerless lay them low. Many before you have won this game, and those many now excel beyond this school. So do not act as though when you graduate you will be king. You will have loyal subjects. You will not. You will need me. You will need a foundation, a supporter to help you rise. There can be none better for you than I. It's not my family I would betray. It is my people. The school was one thing, but to go beneath the dragon's wing, to let him hug me close, to sit in luxury while my own sweat, and die, and starve, and burn, it's enough to rip my heart out. Both his golden children watch us. So do Cassius and his father after they embrace one another. There are tears for Julian. I wish I were with my family instead of here. I wish I could feel Kieran's hand on my shoulder, feel Liana's hand in mine as we watch Mother set dinner before us. That is a family, love. These people are all about glory, victory, and family pride, yet they know nothing of love, nothing of family. These are false families. They're just teams, teams that play their game of pride. The Archgovernor's not even said hello to his children. This vile man cares more to speak with me. Funny, I say. Funny? He asks darkly. I make something up. Funny how a single word can change everything in your life. It's not funny at all. Steel is power. Money is power. But of all the things in all the worlds, words are power. I look at him for a moment. Words are a weapon stronger than he knows, and songs are even greater. The words wake the mind. The melody wakes the heart. I come from a people of song and dance. I don't need him to tell me the power of words, but I smile nonetheless. What is your answer? Yes or no? I will not ask again. I glance over at the dozens of peerless guard who wait to have a word with me, no doubt to offer patronage or apprenticeships. Old Lorne, our Arcos, is there. I recognize him even without his drafter's mask. The Rage Knight, the man who sent me my Pegasus and Dancer's ring, a man of perfect honor and leader of the third most powerful house on Mars, a man I could learn from. Will you rise with me? I look at the Arch-Governor's jugular, his heartbeat is strong. I imagine the fading dirge when Io died, but when I hang him, he will not receive our song. His life will not echo. It will simply stop. I think, my lord, that it would present some interesting opportunities. I look up into his eyes, hoping he mistakes the fury there for excitement. You know the words? He asks me. I nod. Then you must say them, here, now, so all may witness that I have claimed the best of the school. His pride reeks. I grit my teeth and convince myself this is the right path. With him, I will rise. I will attend the academy. I will learn to lead fleets. I will win. I will sharpen myself into a sword. I will give my soul. I will dive to hell in hopes of one day rising to freedom. I will sacrifice, and I will grow my legend and spread it amongst the peoples of all the worlds until I am fit to lead the armies that will break the chains of bondage. Because I am not simply an agent of the son of Ares. I am not simply a tactic or a device in Ares' schemes. I am the hope of my people, of all people in bondage. So I kneel before him, as is their way, and as is their way, he sets his hands upon my head. The words creep from my mouth, and their echo is like broken glass into my ears. I will forsake my father. I will abandon my name. I will be your sword. Nero Augustus, I will make my purpose your glory. Those watching gasp at the sudden proclamation. Others curse at the impropriety, at the gall of Augustus. Does he have no sense of decency? My master kisses the top of my head and whispers their words, and I do my best to cage the fury that has made me a thing sharper than red, harder than gold. Darrow, Lancer of House Augustus, rise. There are duties for you to fill. Rise. There are honors for you to take. Rise for glory, for power, for conquest and dominion over lesser men. Rise, my son. Rise, my love. My love. Remember the cries when winter died for spring skies. They roared and walked while we crept and sneaked and sowed a soul against their greed. Fireworks exploding. And down the vales, hear the reaper swing. The reaper swing, the reaper swing. Down the vales, hear the reaper sing, a tale of wintertide, fireworks exploding. My son, remember the chains. When gold ruled with iron reins, we roared and fought, and twisted and screamed, for hours of veiled battle dreams. The end